Hey, it's Rhea. Welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, hey, how are you? Welcome to the channel. We work on Sims 4 speed builds, and today we are working on our very own Thriftea in the world of Copperdale. I'm actually really excited for you guys to see this lot because it didn't turn out exactly how I imagined it in my mind because, it's The Sims. There are limitations that, you just can't imagine. But I think it turned out so close. It is super vibrant. It feels like a place that a lot of people would gather, and I don't know, I was really inspired. I live in a city, so I was inspired by those places that you'll see when you're going downtown where obviously maybe they have an older style building next to it, or even conjoined. The businesses are conjoined and they have the older style brick, and then maybe they've done something to the other building that makes it look a little more modern, completely paint it a super bright color. I'm very into that, and I wanted to capture that vibe here in this thrift store thing. If you're unfamiliar with the Thriftea, it is basically a thrift store where you can go create outfits that you can later sell. And then you can also grab boba and chill with your Sims. Honestly, it's meant to be kind of a community hangout lot, also a place for you to go and do a bit of the gameplay and fashion. We all love fashion, right? So I don't know, I feel like this just really came out so perfectly. I'm sorry, I don't really give myself credit like this. Often, if you are familiar with my other videos, I'm just oh, I think it's cute or whatever, but I feel like this is just one of those builds where I was a little uncertain at first, because when you're starting, you're always just looking at this empty lot and you're oh, this is low-key, high-key overwhelming. But then to see yourself kind of slowly putting it together, it is just so much fun to watch. Honestly, that is my favorite part about making these videos, other than doing this stuff for you guys, is just seeing the process, seeing how I can take something that is totally blank and build it into something like this. And on the days where I struggle with the builds, I love to remind myself hey girl, you can do it. Just take a bit of time, take a break, and relax. You can make this. But I think that this is just one of those builds that I'm just really happy with. And of course, there's obviously improvements that I could make, a million different things, but I really wanted this to be, I don't know, I wanted it to feel like it fit in the world. I wanted it to be super colorful and a really, I feel an inclusive space. So I feel like I achieved that. You guys can be the judges, obviously. Let me know below, but I really love it. I love all of the colors and everything that I used. Like I've said in previous videos, I have a very maximalist style, and I think that you can kind of see that in certain aspects of this lot. I didn't want to put it overwhelmingly in every room, in every little corner, like I would in one of my personal builds maybe, but I feel this remains functional because I did playtest everything, but also giving that look that I wanted to give. And I can go I'll explain more of it when we get into the furnishings and everything, but I'm just really excited for you guys to see this, and I do hope you guys like it. If you don't, just play it cool. Maybe this is one of those times where you're just oh yes, what a nice build. Most of their videos I'm tell me the tea, tell me if it's ugly, oh my gosh. No, this video I'm just be nice, thank you, oh my gosh, because I like it. Okay, so I am going to give you guys just a little bit of music while I do a bit of the furnishing, and then I will come back, talk to you guys about what's going on, and we will see you soon. So it's obviously a work in progress, but this room is probably my favorite of all of them when it's totally finished. I feel like this, I don't know, all of the items in here are functional, like I said before, but it gives that like cluttered maximalist look while also maintaining that like, you know, your Sims can walk around and like a few people can be in the room at a time and nobody's going to be in each other's way or any of that stuff. And more than one person can be in there looking at clothing at a time. But I feel like this room is just like so cute for me. Like everything goes well together in my opinion, and it's like high key my favorite room. Like I don't know, I'm just like proud of it. Oh, and for those of you wondering what I'm doing when I load a bunch of items in a room that like clearly don't go there or like whatever, I am looking through, like for example this room, I'm trying to find items that I either know that I want in this room or items that I think might go in this room, just like in the clutter options or whatever. And when I'm going through the catalog or even like the debug and I see an item that I think that would work in the build but just in another space, I go ahead and just grab it and I throw it down wherever I'm working, because I think that this is a universal problem, but let me know if you can't relate, obviously. But every time I have an item in mind and I go to look for it, I cannot find it. I can never find them. And I'll like, it's actually crazy to like watch yourself go through things and see how many times you pass by it. Like that's maybe my least favorite thing about like watching myself build, you know, when I'm editing, is seeing how many times I pass by like the same object I'm obviously looking for. But I will say I'm a bit slower now when it comes to that stuff. I take my time when I'm looking for things because I am so tired of watching myself pass by the same item 4 times. Like how much is too much? 4 is way too much, right? I don't know, but that's like a little trick that I picked up a long time ago. I don't remember which simmer that I picked it up from, but somebody that I watch often does that, and oh my god, I am so blanking on it. If I can remember by the time that I put this up on YouTube, I will put the person in the description, because like it's totally, I'm blanking on it right now, but I want to say like Evelyn does it. I don't know. I'll think about it and I will get back to you guys. It's hard for me to think on the spot like that. We have the overall layout done, and now I'm just going to go in and fill everything out, and I do want to just explain my thought process to you guys, just in case that you do want to like make builds like this yourself and you're like, I don't know where to start. So I wanted there to be this like this separate section for like the mic and everything, because that is a requirement of this lot. You do have to have a mic because they host things like open mic nights here, which actually is adorable. But I wanted to put other items up there so then it could feel like more immersive for the Sims, and you guys, when you do visit here with your Sims, you'll have more activities to do. I will say that when I was playtesting everything, I had Sims immediately go up there and start using the other instruments, and I thought that that was adorable, because if I just like lowered my volume, I could pretend that they were all like working together, and that's beautiful, because they were very obviously like level 1, and like we all start somewhere, but like oh my goodness, like they were so bad, but it was so cute to see everything like being used that way. And I actually brought 2 Sims to play test this time because it was a lot like this, like much larger lot, and there were multiple things that needed to be done. So I had one Sim up there like performing, and then I had another Sim like on the couch just chilling with their boba. Like it was so cute. So I wanted this to feel like a little spot where you could gather, wait your turn to like, you know, perform or whatever. You could even like watch your friends perform, and you could easily grab like a boba or something, and just like I wanted this to feel like its own little space, and obviously will fully run by itself, but you still have full access to everything next door with that open archway. I wanted everything to feel kind of like its own working space, while feeling like you could easily go back and forth between the two without any issues, you know? Like you would maybe be waiting for your friend to perform, maybe there's like 2 or 3 people ahead of them, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna just run next door and like go browse some clothes upstairs, or like I'll just like run to the bathroom really quickly. And I wanted it to kind of feel that way on the other side as well, where everything was totally functional on both sides. But if you for some reason were like, oh, I'm gonna go check out some clothes down at the thrift store, and hey, there's like a little event going on next door and I want to check that out, I wanted everything to feel really open but also separate at the same time, if that makes sense. So each space can totally work independently on its own, but everything feels kind of like open you know, very flowy. It's encouraging you to kind of go to both places, and if that makes sense. I really like how I did that. I don't give myself credit like this often, but I really like how I felt like there's a separate space with that platform over there with the musical instruments, and there's also a separate space that we have established for like boba and everything, and everybody has like a little space to sit, but everything feels like it's, you know, it's its own thing. It's functional, separate, but together. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I feel like I accomplished that goal. And I do want to mention, I know that you see like what's that little room like right there to the right for, that is our little dressing room. I know Sims will just get dressed and change clothes like right in front of a mirror, and that's no big deal. But as far as like us having like quote unquote more realistic gameplay, I wanted to just include that because I know some people will want that in their lots. Me personally, I'm one of them. I would like to have the option, even if I know my Sims are most likely not going to use it. Like, I know I would use it, but all of the other Sims are not going to. But I know other people will be like, oh, that's just kind of like a waste of space. They're not really going to utilize it. So you can easily turn that into like a little office or even like another bathroom if you wanted to, because I thought that 3 bathrooms was large enough for this space when I was playtesting it. But I will admit that I only had like 2 people from my lot come with me. So if you're somebody that likes to have like a big family or something and you would take a lot of people to a lot like this, maybe you would want that extra space as a bathroom, maybe not. I will let you decide that, but I just wanted to make mention of that. I also do want to mention, you see that like little register right there? Oh my goodness, it's backwards. It's backwards. I fixed it before I uploaded it onto the gallery, so no big deal. You're not going to have to worry about that if you do download this. But the entire time that I was filming, it was backwards. Like, and I don't know how I didn't notice before, but it was like, took me playtesting it to be like, why? No, the register's on the wrong side. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So thankfully we play tested, that was taken care of, but it was one of those like embarrassing moments where you're like, oh my gosh, how long was that backwards? It was backwards like half the time. No big deal. I just have to rewatch that when I edit it and realize like how silly I am. But you just get so focused on other things that something like that could easily like just go past you. You know what I mean? Like same with like that little stand that I just moved. That has like a back to it, and the back to it has like sunglasses and stuff like that. The sunglasses were literally in the bathroom sinks when I went into the bathroom to decorate the bathroom and finish it. Like I was like, oh my goodness gracious, girl. So I was definitely like way too close to this project in so many aspects, but when you go through and like play test everything and you double check things like that, like I try to do now, I will usually catch those things. That's like one thing I can offer up if you're a new simmer. Like go through and double check things, playtest things if you download something on the gallery. Because I'm sure we've all downloaded something at least once or twice that's a little not functional. I know that I am guilty of doing it to myself, and I'm sure anybody else that accidentally downloaded those builds. And now I like to get ahead of that. It's so frustrating for other people, and especially when you don't know what is non-functional. Like there was one room that I made for my current house that I'm in right now. When I play tested it, I swear that it was functional, but I guess I missed one room, and it was the lamp. It was the light. It was the light in the room. I took every other thing out in the room, and it was the light on the ceiling, which was so weird for me because that is the only thing I didn't place with BB Move objects. Like I was like, what is going on? So if there's ever a thing that you notice about one of my builds that is wrong, just let me know, please. I will fix it. No worries. Speaking of the builds, we are almost done with this one. So I will go ahead and let you guys go. There's just a few photos here at the end for you. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today and spending just a bit of your time with me. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you want to see more, there will be a few recommendations for you at the end. Thank you so much.